Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a powerful parable about a man who, after losing absolutely everything, gains the ultimate power to destroy his enemies. But as you're about to see, his greatest battle wasn't with them at all, it was with himself.
We're unpacking a timeless story about a wronged duke, a magical island, and that ultimate test between vengeance and mercy. It's a tale that really makes you question the very nature of power and what it truly means to be human.
So where does our story kick off? Well, not with a whisper, but with a roar. This is a story that's been fueled by a deep, deep injustice and the rage that it cultivated for more than a decade.
Let's meet our main character, Prospero. Now, he was once the powerful Duke of Milan, but he was betrayed by his own brother and cast adrift at sea with his young daughter. But, his 12-year exile on a deserted island, it was anything but idle. It was this long, slow burn, a period of intense transformation where he mastered the arcane arts from his books, all while this deep resentment was just simmering, waiting for the perfect moment.
And when fate finally delivers his enemies right into his grasp, shipwrecked near his shores, Prospero doesn't hesitate for a second. He conjures this violent, magical storm, and it's a perfect, physical manifestation of all his long-held fury. It's a symbolic disruption of the natural order that was shattered by his brother's treachery all those years ago.
But this storm, it is so much more than just simple revenge. It's a meticulously planned event, a grand piece of theater, really, designed to bring every single one of his enemies to a moment of reckoning. He wants to force them to face the consequences of what they did and to set the stage for a final restoration.
So with his enemies shipwrecked and scattered all across the island, the entire landscape becomes Prospero's personal stage. And he, through his magic, becomes the ultimate puppet master.
You can really see the island's strict pecking order when you look at Prospero's two main servants. On one side, you have the powerful spirit Ariel, who serves willingly, but only to earn his promised freedom. And on the other side, you have the resentful Caliban, the island's native inhabitant who's been forced into a bitter slavery and sees Prospero as nothing more than a colonizer who stole his home.
And these relationships are so key because they shine a light on Prospero's absolute control. He uses Ariel to separate the shipwrecked passengers into different groups, which allows him to manipulate them more easily. And this whole dynamic, it raises some serious moral questions about the nature of his authority and the exploitation that's baked into demanding that kind of total obedience. Okay, so amidst all these intricate schemes for revenge, Prospero is also orchestrating another, far more delicate test. And this isn't just about his daughter's heart. It's a trial of true love that is absolutely crucial to his own political future.
Using his magical oversight, Prospero literally guides Ferdinand, the Prince of Naples, directly to his daughter, Miranda. He makes sure they meet and, just as he planned, they fall instantly in love. But this isn't just some fairy tale romance. It's a strategic move to secure an alliance and restore his daughter's social standing.
But he doesn't just leave it to fate. To make sure the prince's love is the real deal, Prospero puts Ferdinand through the ringer. First, Ariel lures Ferdinand to Miranda with enchanting music. Then, Prospero falsely accuses him of being a spy. And finally, he forces him to do this arduous manual labor, a trial designed to prove his devotion is genuine and not just some fleeting infatuation.
And this moment brilliantly illustrates one of the story's core themes. Seeing Ferdinand's struggle, Miranda's compassion just shines through, and she offers to share his burden. Her act of empathy shows how genuine love can transform a painful trial, a kind of servitude, into a shared and even joyful act. So, while you have this beautiful love story blossoming in one corner of the island, in another, the darkness of human greed and the echo of old betrayals, well, they're starting to fester. And what's wild is that two parallel conspiracies emerge, showing that this corrupting thirst for power isn't just for the upper class. You've got Prospero's unrepentant brother Antonio, who convinces another noble to murder the king and seize his crown. And at the exact same time, Caliban is conspiring with two drunken servants to murder Prospero, proving that the drive to dominate festers even in a survival situation.
But here's the thing. Nothing gets past Prospero. Through his ever-watchful spirit, Ariel, he monitors every single one of these schemes. But he doesn't stop them with brute force. Instead, he uses his magic, enchanting music and illusions, to lead the would-be assassins astray, turning their own greed right back against them.
All right, this is it. We've reached the climax of the story. After manipulating, testing, and toying with his enemies, Prospero now has to finally confront the man his quest for revenge has turned him into. And he has to make one final pivotal choice. He doesn't confront them as a man, but as a sorcerer. He uses these grand, terrifying illusions to completely break their spirits. A magical banquet appears before the starving men, and then vanishes. Then Ariel descends as a monstrous harpy, explicitly calling them out for their treachery against Prospero, forcing all their guilt right to the surface.
So after pushing his enemies to the absolute brink of madness and despair, with his revenge perfectly within his grasp, Prospero is forced into this moment of profound self-reflection. Has all this power brought him peace, or has it just made the wound even deeper?
And then, in a stunning turn, he chooses to break the cycle. He has this realization that the rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. He chooses to forgive them, understanding that the real resolution isn't found in a violent release of anger, but in compassion.
This one decision leads directly to the final resolution. And to reclaim his humanity, Prospero has to do something huge. He must dismantle the very source of his immense power.
To fully signal his return to human society and his place in the natural order, Prospero makes a solemn vow. He will break his staff, drown his books, and completely relinquish the supernatural abilities that have defined his life for the last 12 years.
And it's only by giving up that magic that he is finally able to reveal himself, not as a sorcerer, but as the man he once was, the Duke of Milan. He offers a general pardon, and a now repentant King Alonso rightfully restores his dukedom.
With his grand design complete, he doesn't just reclaim his title, he also frees those who are bound to him. He grants the loyal spirit Ariel his long-awaited freedom, and then, in the very end, he turns to us, the audience, and asks for applause, not for his performance, but to release him from the island and the story itself. And so the parable ends by leaving us with this powerful, lingering question. It asks us to look at our own lives, at the anger, the grudges, or the power we cling to, and to really consider what parts of ourselves must we let go of to truly restore our own humanity.